Oh, baby. 49ers taking the L on Christmas. A lump of coal in the Bay Area stockings there after the Warriors lost earlier that day. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the Morning Roast, and it's not Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. It's Joe Spadoni and Sam Lubman. Good morning, Sam. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, hello there, Spadoni. I had a not one of the banner Christmases. I'll say that.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately, your boy was in the infirmary most of the weekend. No, I felt something coming down on Friday, and then
yeah. And I was sick last week too, so I missed
probably where
Wednesday.
I got it from.
Yeah, probably.
You know, we're locked in the studio together, you and me, most of the time, so that's probably where it came from. But yeah, no, I was holed up in my apartment most of the weekend in darkness, drowning myself in cough medicine. Responsibly, of course.
Always.
Always got to be responsible with that cough medicine.
Yeah, not the scissor. Shout out Jamarcus.
No, not doing that.
Doing that.
So yeah, no, being sick on Christmas is a very underrated, lousy way to spend your holidays, actually.
Well,
so
yeah, and you know, you never want to be sick at all, but especially during the holidays. And obviously, you know, thinking of all you people out there, the holidays could be a little tough on some people. You know, we think of it as this nice, joyous occasion, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, the New Year, anything like that. Some people, you know what? They're struggling a little bit, a little down in the dumps. So if you're tuning in, I hope to cheer your spirits. It's not the end of the world for the 49ers. Let's relax, everyone. Take a step back. The quarterback didn't look great. It's okay to say it. You know, even the guy has imperfections. Perfect Purdy. You know, these things happen. 4 picks. It was ugly. That's not the way you wanted it, especially, again, after the Warriors lost to the Nuggets, and that was even uglier, and we'll get to that as Steve Kerr had some thoughts on the officiating in that game as the Nuggets take out the Warriors 120-114 out in Denver, Colorado. Andrew Wiggins looked good there. Steph, Clay, not so much. But, hey, tell you what, Nikola Jokic at the free throw line, man. If that's what you came to see, got your money's worth. But Baltimore 33, 49ers 19, Sam. And overall takeaways from that game for you when you watched it on Monday evening.
Yeah, I think we have to officially put to bed the Brock Purdy is Joe Montana conversation, Spadoni.
Joe had 4-pick games. Let's say.
He did, but here's the thing, though. Joe Montana, did he have a 4-pick game? Yes, he did. You know what he did in that 4-pick game, though? He won that 4-pick game. So, unfortunately, Brock Purdy, he's not Joe Montana. You know who's still on the table, though? Tom Brady. Tom Brady was 0 for 6 when he threw 4 picks in a game. Peyton Manning, another one, 0 for 6 when he threw 4 picks in a game. Did you know that Peyton Manning had a 6-interception game at one point in his career?
Yeah, he threw 28 his rookie season.
Yeah,
I didn't
what
know
a
that.
Bum.
Yeah, he stinks.
Drew Bledsoe, another one, winless when he threw 4 more picks. Eli Manning was another one. Phillip Rivers. So Brock could be any of those quarterbacks, but for one day, I think we have to pull back a little bit on the Brock Purdy is Joe Montana comparables. But if that's really kind of what we're knocking Brock Purdy off there, like overall, I think we're doing pretty good. You know, guys are allowed to have bad days. I think the phrase Michael Jordan even had a bad day every now and then. That's a phrase, so that's going to pop up there. Yeah, it was an ugly day. It was an ugly night for Brock Purdy against the Ravens. I went back, I rewatched that game last night, and we'll get into those interceptions at some point in this show. I'm sure we got to break those down because there's a lot going on those interceptions. I think it was
the word I keep hearing, Sam, not to cut you off there, is fluky for a lot of fans. A lot of fans saying some of those are fluky. I didn't see a lot of flukiness from the Baltimore Ravens, if that's the word we're going to use. We'll talk to Brian Baldinger at 7:30 too. Mm-hmm. Brian Baldinger, obviously NFL Network, former NFL offensive lineman, and our 95.7 The Game NFL insider. He breaks down everything. I don't think there's anything fluky about what happened with the Baltimore Ravens, the defensive backs. Kyle Hamilton, my God, guy's just such a stud. Hope he's okay. I know he had left with the knee injury, but the guy is just incredible. He started things off early, picking Brock Purdy after you thought, you know what, 3 and out for the Ravens, Niners driving. I was like, it's going down again. What we all thought. No one's on the Niners level, right? And then, all of a sudden, turnover. Oh, then you get the safety. It's all right. The defense is humming. Then you go up 5-0. He's got the baseball scores and stuff like that. It's all right. You're up 5-0. And then the Ravens start cooking. And Lamar starts going. And then the turnovers go up and up. And then you pitch a shutout if you're the Ravens in the third quarter, 17-0 there. And that was all she wrote. And then Brock Purdy left with a stinger. I thought he was concussed when I first saw it. and then he went in the blue medical tent, and they labeled it as a stinger. Usually when I hear stinger, it's like, okay, he got shaken up a little bit. The nerve ending somewhere somehow, and they just kept him out. And I thought that was actually very surprising because it's one thing if it's a head injury, Sam. He's concussed. He's your guy. Brock Purdy's your franchise right now. He's been the MVP candidate the last few weeks, leader in the clubhouse. You want to keep this guy healthy for the playoffs. You saw it without him in Philadelphia. You're not winning without Brock Purdy. So from that, I understand. But when I heard it was a stinger, and it was 10 minutes left, 8 minutes left, still in the fourth quarter, you're down 3 scores. You probably weren't winning the game anyways. I was just shocked that they kept him out because of a stinger. What say you with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's at the point now where it's just like I'm kind of wondering what even is going on when you do get a stinger there. Well, I think it was last week against Arizona, it was a stinger to his non-throwing shoulder. Did they say it was a similar injury here this week? I believe it was another stinger to his non-throwing shoulder.
Yes.
Stuff like that. So I guess, what are the odds that 2 weeks in a row he gets a stinger in the same area? Yeah, that was kind of interesting to me. I figured it would be something that at that point of the game, it was 33-12 when that last injury happened.
They're down 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it basically, the game felt like it was over. I mean, there was that back-breaking sequence in the third quarter where the Ravens scored, Brock throws the interception, Ravens score on the next play. It was, 2 touchdowns in an 18-second span. That, I feel like, more or less put the kibosh on the game for the Niners on Monday night. If the game was closer, probably if it was like a 2-score game, maybe Brock comes back in, especially after Darnold leads that touchdown drive there in relief. But yeah, no, very, very interesting there how they kept him out. But again, it felt more like, let's just play it safe here. This game's a lost cause. We don't need Brock getting hurt any worse. We've seen how many quarterbacks have been dropping around the league all throughout this season. There's no need for the Niners to unnecessarily risk their franchise guy when you have 2 very important games coming up. It's an AFC opponent, so as far as losing any tiebreakers with your NFC opponents, this loss doesn't really hurt that. If there's ever a time just like, let's punt, that's a time to do it. I think Trent Williams, another one, I think he got injured on that fourth.
Groin,
the groin injury, got injured on the fourth interception trying to grab that ball back. It looked like he could have probably gone back in too if the game was more winnable. So at some point, I mean, again, credit Kyle Shanahan. We sometimes, fault him for maybe, running guys into the ground a little too much, playing a little too hard there. Recognizing the situation where it's like, you know what? Let's not try and get guys hurt fighting for a lost cause there. That's kind of how I took it there. But 2 weeks in a row, though, having to leave the game with a stinger injury and Sam Darnold coming in, it was a little bit better from Darnold this week. That last week when he was in against Arizona, every time he throws the ball, you're having Jimmy Garoppolo flashbacks. But
he's got a cannon, though. I'll say this to Sam Darnold. Guy's got a cannon.
Thrower
As
of
a
the
thrower
football.
of the football, he is elite when it comes to that. And then ultimately, it was getting a little interesting there late. If they got that touchdown, they got the 3 timeouts if something happened, because I could not have waited. I might have came in early if Sam Darnold somehow let a comeback down 21 points with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter against the Baltimore Ravens, the best team in the AFC. That might have, blown up the entire week. Because their quarterback controversy didn't happen. Niners take the L, 33-19.
It almost would have been worse, I think, if Darnold had led that comeback.
It would have been no.
Wouldn't it? No, because then it's like now we go from, it's a tough loss to a really good opponent. We can always, bounce back from that to, well, hold on a second. Do we need to start having a should Sam Darnold start conversation?
Well, I think a lot of the Brock naysayers would have said, hey, look, Sam Darnold just came off the bench just hasn't played all year other than mop-up duty, and then he was able to do that. Yeah, that's a product of Kyle Shanahan. I'm going to take everything I saw with Brock Purdy this year with a grain of salt. He's basically Jimmy Garoppolo 2.0. That's what a lot of the naysayers, I think, would have said if that came to fruition. It didn't. And to think that Sam Darnold is somehow on Brock Purdy's level, just watch the body of work. Brock's been amazing this year. We're not taking anything away from what he's done this season. But, as we know, Sam, you are only as good as your last game in the NFL, and his last game wasn't very good. 4 interceptions. Kyle Shanahan, your thoughts on Brock's picks? Oh, not playing. It's okay. Hashtag new studio. We're still workshopping it here. Did we fix this, by the way, Sam, in the studio yet when we're playing sound in here?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. Is Studio Hotkey 7 potted up over there too?
Yep, no, we got it up. There we go.
Got a way to get out of it.
It's all right. We'll restart it. Let me turn it off real quick. I'm going to turn it off.
Probably helps when hotkeys are actually turned on.
It's okay. Hey, you know what? We're workshopping here. It's almost a new season, new year for all of us. And you know what? We'll get out of these kinks way early. Shanahan, your thoughts on Brock's picks?
There was some space that flashed, and he just reacted and let it rip. He was probably feeling pretty good after the first few plays and thought he could squeeze it in there, but can't verse that coverage. So that was the wrong decision. And, just looking into all the others were real unfortunate plays. We were in a run play that they got us on a corner blitz, and he had a way to get out of it, but he had to throw it over that guy, and the guy made a hell of a play jumping and tipping it, and the other corner on the backside ended up getting the tip and picking it. The next one was a scramble on 3rd and 7 where really threw a 50-50 ball to George, and 14 did a hell of a job getting his hand in there and tipping it up in the air, and he got another tip. And the one in the third quarter, he made the right read. The Mike linebacker got under a route by Ayuk, so he went to his check down, which was the right decision, but he was getting hit as he threw right on his right arm, and the ball bounced up in the air and got a pick. So it was less more about Brock's interceptions. It was after that, and then we were just in a tough situation after that, being down, and the play wasn't great as a whole for an offense after that.
888-957-9570 as you listen to Kyle Shanahan there with his media conference call as he does each and after every single game, talking to the media there. Are we worried about Brock Purdy, or is this just a one-off? 888-957-9570. Hit us up via call, via text. The Comcast Biz text line always open. Also, shout out Twitch and YouTube. Search 95.7 The Game live. And, like and subscribe, I should say, because we are live and local the rest of the week right here on 95.7 The Game. So hit us up there as well. It is a Warriors Wednesday brought to you by Freedman's Appliance, a trusted name since 1922. Visit freedmansappliance.com today. Brian Baldinger, 7:30. And Warriors Wednesday, we might touch on the Warriors a little bit. Obviously, I just think the 49ers losing in the fashion that they did, I got to be honest, I'm a little shocked. I did not expect to see that on Christmas. Maybe I should have, not been shocked, because what I witnessed Christmas morning may have been even more shocking. Patrick Mahomes just getting destroyed by the Las Vegas Raiders. Mary Swiftmas with Taylor Swift in the building. Maybe that was a precursor, a sign of things to come for that evening, because, man, I just, for a team that prides itself, Sam Lubman, on the 49ers being so damn physical, with an F, as Jim Harbaugh would say, so damn physical. I haven't seen it since Cleveland, where a team's been out-physicaling them at the line of scrimmage, linebacker, second, everywhere. They just got punched in the mouth.
No, and I think that's kind of been a statement you saw pop up a little bit during that Niners 3-game losing streak in terms of just how physical the 49ers are, because it's no doubt guys like Fred Warner, Drain Greenlaw anchoring that defense, they are definitely bringing that hit. They are definitely bringing the punishment every play, especially then you go inside with Armstead and Hargrave. They set the tone up the middle. They really take away those middle lanes there. This is a very good, dominant, hard-hitting defense, but it almost, I saw one comment on the Twitter sphere, and I always take what I see on Twitter with a grain of salt, but this was a good, I thought, comment to really look at. It was almost like the Ravens were like the public school kids going against the coddled private school kids that the 49ers were. And it seems like whenever the Niners struggle, this belief pops up that the Niners have a finesse to them. They're more, I guess, like substance than the actual talk.
Steve Weish of the NFL Network, longtime NFL reporter, does a great job over there. He compared them to a friend of the roast. He compared them to a dome team. He says they don't play in a dome, but they're like a dome team. And some people would take that as they're soft and stuff like that. I take that as, hey, and this team has been compared to them, the greatest show on turf. They're just so damn good. They get a lead, you're not getting it back. And it's very difficult to stop them. But if you do, and you make them play from behind, then you can get after the quarterback, then you can push them, and then you know what? Good things can happen, as you saw there. And you mentioned the 3-game losing streak, Sam. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the only time in that Cleveland game where I saw them really just struggle from start to finish on the offensive end. And that's a team, either one of those teams, you may see in the Super Bowl again. We'll have to get to the Super Bowl first. But that's also what I want to get to. Is anyone really concerned after this loss that they might not get to the Super Bowl? Or are you even thinking anyone in the NFC can hang? Because that was an AFC opponent. The only time you're going to see the Ravens again, is in the Super Bowl. But is there anyone you're still fearing out in the NFC? Because I was watching the games over the weekend. Hell, even on Christmas. Tommy DeVito gets benched. Tyrod Taylor almost leads the comeback against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, I'm not impressed with. The Dallas Cowboys, I'm not impressed with. The Detroit Lions, we'll see. That's the only other team you got to worry about as far as the number 1 seed goes, because you're tied there. But obviously, the Niners better conference record than the Detroit Lions, having not gone head-to-head against them. But I'm not fearing Detroit. Is it the Rams you're fearing now? They're all of a sudden hot. Sean McVay in the playoffs, 1-0 against Shanahan. We know in the regular season we'll see them in a couple weeks here. But, man, are you still fearing anyone out in the NFC? Because if I'm a Niner fan, it was a tough loss, but I'm not tripping over it. I'm not.
In the NFC, no, I'm not worried about anyone right now. The Niners show that they can handle the Eagles. The Eagles, they look like they're kind of falling apart and kind of coming back to earth a little bit. Part of the reason why the Eagles were so successful last year was because of that defense, was because of their ability to rack up as many sacks as they were able to. By the way, you know who's racking up a lot of sacks this year? It's Baltimore Ravens. So, I don't know, apparently getting sacks is a great way to win football games. But
tough to find a good pass rush.
It is really hard to find a good pass rush. Yes, shout out John Gruden. But, so yeah, I mean, the Niners, they handle the Eagles in a way that's just like, you know what, even if they match in the playoffs, I'd expect it to be a little bit closer, but as Nick Bosa said after that game, they feel like they kind of cracked a code on the Eagles there. As far as the Cowboys, the Niners have won 3 straight against the Cowboys, dating back to the last 2 playoff appearances, plus the regular season matchup this year. And the beatdown's been getting worse on the Cowboys. I've seen nothing from Dallas to make me think that, I mean, might they push the Niners a bit in a playoff game, kind of like they did last year? Definitely a possibility. I mean, the playoffs do bring out kind of better performances from guys. If the Niners are hosting that game, which they probably would, I would still feel very good about the Niners in that game against the Cowboys. And then the Lions, every year there's always one team in the NFL just kind of comes out of nowhere and has that, great regular season. But like there's underlying metrics that you're seeing there that just show that they're good. But the reason they're good is because they're also playing like a second or third place schedule, which is what the Lions have this year. And the Lions are 11-4, but they have a plus 57-point differential, which means they're handling those close games, but they've been blown out a few times too. One of the 2 games they got blown out in was against these Baltimore Ravens. So the Lions, they're a good team. I feel like they're a year away, possibly, hopefully, if Dan Campbell can keep this momentum going there in Detroit, because if there's ever a fan base that deserves success, it's the Detroit Lions. But I'm not fearing them in a playoff matchup right now. So right now, NFC still feels like it's in a good spot for the 49ers. But yeah, if you look at the top of the AFC, and this is something I want to get into later in this show, Kyle Shanahan might have some problems against the top of the AFC.
Oh, he's got some problems there. That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen. That's Sam Lubman alongside myself, Joe Spadoni here, filling in for Bontaine Shasky. If you're just waking up, good morning to all of you. If you're just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for the week, school should be out, but if you're doing like online classes, winter, what is that? What do they call that? The winter, I've been in college now for 4 years.
Like winter semester?
There you go. What's a winter semester? But it's not a semester. I forget what it's called. The Mrs. Jade, who's should be sleeping, hopefully she is, baby's not waking her up. She used to take all these and then she graduated way faster. So if you're doing that and you're hanging out with us, appreciate you. 888-957-9570, 49ers 19, Ravens 33 on Christmas. Brock Purdy, 4 picks. Are you concerned about Brock Purdy? And maybe not the decision-making. Hell, are you concerned about the wear and tear on Brock, leaving with the stinger injury? Here's what Kyle Shanahan had to say in regards to Brock's stinger yesterday talking to the media.
Yeah, just watching him, how he was that week, and then just being able to hear how he was today and talk to him last night after the game, I think he's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to bother him too. I mean, I know I don't want to take away from sure it's a pain for him, and but in overall things, I think he's going to be fine for us this week.
And he better be, because they got not red hot. I was trying to gas this matchup up, but the Washington Commanders, they stink. It's Jacoby Brissett going to play now. Sam Howell got benched. My guy Sam Howell, I was rooting for you, Sam. You showed flashes earlier in the year, but that team's just a dumpster fire. You do have to travel to the East Coast, right? So maybe that's going to be a little challenging there, but I can't front. They should wax this team. This has a bounce-back performance written all over it, but hey, you never know. Any given Sunday, you cannot sleep on your opponent. I'm sure the Niners won't do that as they learn their lesson, on Christmas and during that 3-game losing streak.